Hi, welcome back to Celebrating Culture. We're here today at New Orleans Lakefront Airport. I'm with Doc Hecker. Doc, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's a great inspiration for what you guys have done for New Orleans and now what you're doing for really the country.
Well, we've been blessed. We actually found the original aircraft that dropped the paratroopers over Normandy. It's called That's All Brother. There's historical references with the Air Force and in the history books. We found this airframe actually in what we call an aircraft boneyard up in Wisconsin. Once we verified its authenticity, we raised money up to $3 million and had this plane restored over a 2-year period. And I was fortunate to be selected as one of the pilots.
This is not just one of the planes.
This was the plane that led. This was the tip of the spear. We estimate about 75% of the aircraft has been refurbished. We have now installed all the radar and radio communication equipment that the airplane would have had on D-Day. So it is the most period and authentic C-47 that exists on the planet today. We do have modernized avionics and navigation equipment aboard the aircraft. There's no autopilot, it's still hand-flown.
Still hand-flown.
But I have all the navigation equipment to get me around the world, which is important because we're flying this airplane to France and to mainland Europe.
How big is the 75th anniversary of D-Day going to be?
It's huge. It's huge for a variety of reasons because this is the last time we're going to gather together the remaining heroes of World War II who are mostly in their 90s and dying off at a tremendous rate right now. Yesterday I had a 99-year-old aviator that came in that was a transport pilot on one of these aircraft. I watched him climb into the aircraft, get into the cockpit with me, and he pointed out to me where everything was. It was amazing.
With the trip leader, Mitch Mitchell. Mitch, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How big is the Commemorative Air Force?
Our wing itself has 8 flyable World War II aircraft, and we're stationed in San Marcos, Texas. All our airplanes are flyable and go to air shows to show people what actually those young men, 18, 19, 20-year-olds were doing during the Second World War.
This has got to be one of the favorite air shows to come to when they do this every October. The hangar here, or the terminal, goes back to the 1930s. Amelia Earhart came through here. You've got a great restaurant in here.
This terminal is awesome.
When you're flying the plane, do
Yeah.
you see the passengers, do they really grasp where they are? I mean, in part of a history.
I believe they do, and I think they would not be here unless they had some draw to this. I had a gentleman today on your flight came up, and I took his hand and I put it on the control wheel and let him fly the airplane. And then I found out later he's a 2-star general in the Army.
I'm with General Arthur Abercrombie. General, welcome to the show.
Retired general.
Retired. Are you sure?
Positive.
So, General, you came down to New Orleans from Baton Rouge to be in a plane.
I did. It was absolutely wonderful. I mean, it's one of the most memorable days of my life, actually, to get to fly in the same plane as the guys that jumped out first in D-Day. I'll never forget it. They let us handle the static line and everything stood up, hooked up.
Also got to put your hand on the wheel.
I did. I went up to the cockpit during the flight. The pilot said, grab the wheel, and he took his hands off. So I actually flew the plane.
You were flying us.
For about 10 seconds.
What did your wife have to say about that?
Well, I texted my wife the picture, and she wrote back, Lord, that's not necessary. I was actually smiling the entire time in the plane today. I never smiled when I was doing it real. I was scared to death.
You guys do need contributions to keep this going.
We are tremendously looking for sources of donations to help us in our effort here. The actual operating expense of this airplane, just to get it flying, is about $1,500 an hour. So we give tours. You went on a tour with us today. We try to carry a minimum of 7. We can take up to 13.
And as you go across the nation, people can sign up and reach you guys.
Yes.
How would they contact you?
They could get online, let's say on Facebook and Central Texas Wing.
The October Air Show that the World War II Museum
Yes,
puts on?
this is one of the favorite places for us to come. It's only a few hours away for us, so if we're invited, we come. This is a great venue, New Orleans, with its rich military history here. Obviously, my mother was a military officer from here.
Now, your mother was a WAC?
She was. She was Women's Army Corps officer. She was trained as a Signal Corps officer and was attached to the Army Air Corps. And she taught radar techniques in Orlando, Florida.
And your dad?
And my dad was a Air Corps officer. He was a B-17 driver. 25 combat missions.
Doc, do you, as you're going through this step-by-step process, do you sense the importance of the mission?
I
Getting
do.
the plane from city to city?
This, to me, is the epitome of a life well lived. That I'm able to
Absolutely.
have this opportunity and share this with other people. And to even just put my hands on these pieces of equipment, to me, is historic.
Stay tuned, and we'll be right back with more Celebrating Culture.
Thank you again. Bye-bye.
There's a gentleman in your wing, so to speak, in Texas that I understand is with the Doolittle group.
Yeah, we have a gentleman that's a member of the wing, and right now he's 102 years old, and he's still really sharp and comes out every now and then, and his name is Dick Cole, and actually he was Jimmy Doolittle's co-pilot for the Tokyo raid. Got forced down since they couldn't, they had to launch early because the Japanese, they thought the Japanese had spotted the carrier group that they were on. He survived with Doolittle. When he got out of China, he went through Burma, and he was looking for something to do. So they recruited him, and he flew the hump. And actually, he flew airplanes like this C-47 over the hump for a couple of years, and then actually became an air commando and everything. And he's quite a fellow, and he's got a book. He wrote a book about all this, and it's called Dick Cole's War.